Well, first of all, I've been a lifelong conservative. I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me, and I do not identify with them at all. Let me tell you this, people are not waiting for a storm to go over. They're waiting for Donald Trump because he is the storm. And let me be clear about one thing. The Republican Party doesn't control Donald Trump. Donald Trump controls the Republican Party. I am a Trumpster. We all are Trumpsters. We take his lead. He's a fighter. He's willing to take on the Taliban, Russia, China, and everyone else. And people are missing that now. That's why I've been saying all along, with President Trump at the helm, we did take this country back. We did make this country great again. And when Donald Trump comes back in 2024, if he decides to do it, he's going to make this country even greater again.
You know, a lot of folks may forget about the assassination of Soleimani, General Soleimani, during those times, or the bombings there within the Taliban and those factions that were very, very radicalized, if you will. Then you had today the warning of possible ISIS threats and warning those Americans that were going to make their way to the airport in Kabul to don't do it because there are some threats happening outside. And you wonder if this would have been handled differently under a Trump administration, Vernon.
Well, let me be clear about one thing. Joe Biden, as well as our governor, Governor Kemp, they have welcomed the Taliban to come not only to Georgia, but to America with no type of vetting process whatsoever. Donald Trump would have never allowed that to happen. He had a plan. His plan would have been a rollout plan that would have worked, not a plan that was being rolled over like what is happening now. Joe Biden has lost control of what's going on with Taliban. He's lost control of the borders. He's lost control of the pandemic. He has lost control of everything. As a matter of fact, he is not even in control. So we need a strong leader like Donald Trump. Someone said earlier, some may were voting for a personality, but now they see a strong leader. Donald Trump is solid as Stone Mountain. And I can tell you, he's ready to lead this country. He's fit. He's trained. He's a fighter. People are looking for a fighter. That's the problem in Georgia. Our governor caved into election integrity. He caved into mandates. He caved into CRT. He's the governor we call the great caver. Remind me of Joe Biden. And when you look who's running Washington, what you have Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. When I think about them, I think about the Wizard of Oz. One has no heart, the other has no courage, and you know which one has no brain. President Trump can come back and put this country back on the road where we need to be. I'm looking forward to having his support, too, in Georgia. Can't wait for him to come out to Georgia because you and I both know so goes Georgia, so goes this country. And people can go to jonesforgeorgia.com and be involved in this movement.
Vernon, final thoughts from you, if I can. Just a few more seconds with you. The president's going to come out tonight. Does his attitude change? Are we going to see a more direct Donald Trump tonight?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump has never changed. Others have changed, but Donald Trump has stayed steady. That's what I like about him. He doesn't waver. He doesn't pander. He has a backbone. He's not spineless. And so we may change, but Donald Trump doesn't change. That's what I like about him. He's full speed ahead. He's a leader. You're going to see a president that's going to come out, a former president that's going to come out, and you're going to believe he's still the current president. He has the power. He has the support. And even his biggest critics are seeing now that Joe Basement, Jim Crow, Joe Biden may have the right string, but the wrong yo-yo. President Trump is ready to take back Georgia and ready to take back this country.